Hey everybody, this is Dan with the Bothersome Truth, and I want to talk about Trump's conflicts of interest and why these are important when it comes to him being the future president of the United States. I want to talk about potential conflicts of interest. I want to talk about one that he admitted to, and I want to talk about one that also he said he didn't ask for, a favor that he didn't ask for, but we may have proof to show that he actually did. I will also want to talk about the hypocrisy I'm seeing with some Hillary critics, and how the very things that they criticize Hillary for, they seem to be letting Trump get by on a pass, to have a pass with. So let's just start there. So during the election, you can go back to the videos we've done. You've seen Emmanuel and I, we railed against the corruption that we saw coming from Hillary and her side. We saw the corruption when it comes to them loading the deck against Bernie Sanders with the DNC and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the former head of the DNC. We saw the corruption when it comes to the Clinton Global Initiative. We saw it with the Clinton Foundation. We saw that they were making deals with foreign leaders and giving and getting money from them, and they were going to use that so they could get in the White House and do even more deals for people and make even more money. So when we saw that, when we had WikiLeaks, when we had evidence of that with Hillary Clinton, rightfully, those of us who were trying to be as objective and honest as possible, we criticized it because we said this isn't right. It should not be happening. But some of you who criticized it, you didn't criticize it because it was wrong. You criticized it because Hillary did it. And the reason why I can say that is because Trump already has these conflicts of interest that I'm going to get into, and you make every excuse for him. And it seems to me that the real problem you had was with who did it and not what they were doing. That is not honest. That is not a position of integrity. That lacks principles. And honestly, some of you are going to start being surprised when I stop listening to you, when I stop taking your opinion to have weight. And I think people need to stop listening to those views. If you're one of those people who you think corruption is wrong when Hillary does it, but you don't call it corruption when Trump does it, then you're not a person who can really be trusted. And when it comes to politics, you're not really a person who should be listened to. We may listen to you on other subjects, but when it comes to this, until you learn how to be consistent and based in principle, you're not being honest. And honestly, it really pisses me off. Because I think we should be objective and call it no matter who does it, like a referee should. But some of you are just playing teams. You're treating politics like a team sport. And I'm sorry, politics shouldn't be treated the same way we treat Monday Night Football. We should be measuring everyone based on what they do. And if it's wrong no matter who does it. But let's get into some of these conflicts of interest with Trump. First, let's talk about these potential conflicts of interest, and I'm going to put a link to all the stories that I'm talking about. Number one, he acknowledged that he, quote-unquote, Donald Trump might have brought up his discontent with plans for an offshore wind farm near one of his golf courses in Scotland with a British politician, Nigel Farage, if I got that right, and asked him to oppose the wind project. Farage led the movement to leave the European Union, Brexit, and has significant political influence in Britain. Doing a favor for Mr. Trump's business could help smooth the way to a highly favorable trade agreement with the United States after Britain leaves the EU. I don't understand what there is to argue about that. It's pretty clear cut to me. And then if you don't believe what I'm saying, go in the description and look at the articles for yourself. But he might have asked about it. The con artist doesn't remember asking. We could be fairly sure that he did because he doesn't like to tell the truth. Here's another one. Foreign diplomats told the Washington Post that they were booking hotel rooms and spending money at the Trump International Hotel down the street from the White House to ingratiate themselves with the incoming administration. That's a concern because if they see that Trump is willing to do something for them when they scratch his back, then that tells us that we may not have an objective president. We may have one who, when it comes time to make foreign policy decisions, he's not thinking what's in the best interest of the United States, or as some of our past presidents have done, what do my donors want? This president is going to think, what's going to make me money? Like, what's going to help my casino or hotel or whatever I have in that area? And that's a whole new level of corruption. It doesn't ignore what's happened in the past, but it just takes it to a whole new level that we should not be okay with at all, no matter who does it. Trump met with Indian developers who have licensed the Trump brand for a real estate project and are hoping to capitalize on his victory by extending the deal to even more developments in India. Okay, now let's go to the one that he admitted. Trump admitted to a conflict of interest in Turkey. Okay, he said, I have a conflict of interest because I have a major building in Istanbul. He said during a radio interview last year with Stephen K. Bannon, the Breitbart News executive, who has since been designated his chief White House strategy. Quote, it's a tremendously successful job. It's called Trump Towers, 2 towers instead of 1, not the usual one, it's 2. And I can tell you right now, folks, I'm going to have somebody argue with me about that. He admitted it was a conflict of interest before he was president. He's president-elect right now. And this doesn't all of a sudden disappear now that he, is president-elect. But somebody, watch, in the comments or wherever, somebody's going to tell me that I'm crazy for going off of what Trump said when he said it was a conflict of interest. Watch. That's where things have gone. Some of it is just honestly sad. Let's go to the one that he denied, but we may have evidence to prove that he did it. So Trump gets a call from the Argentinian president congratulating him, okay? And the Argentinian president says, congratulations on winning the presidency. And here's what they report. This still hasn't emerged, but Trump asked the president of Argentina to authorize a building he's constructing in Buenos Aires. It wasn't just a geopolitical chat. This was reported by Jorge Lanata, who is a prominent Argentinian journalist for La Nación, one of Argentina's leading daily publications. Now, Trump has denied this. The president of Argentina has denied this. But guess what? When you're the president of Argentina, people transcribe your conversation because of political accountability and transparency. So when you say you didn't say it, there's probably somebody there who recorded it and wrote it down, and then we can see whether you said it or not. So Trump hasn't had his conversations recorded yet because he's not president yet. But maybe when he becomes president, he won't even want that to happen. We definitely see that he has a problem with the press. But normally people who have something to hide don't like accountability. So when it comes to Donald Trump, we have a plethora of red flags to be concerned about. And if Hillary Clinton were doing all these things, we should be just as concerned. We should be concerned no matter who does it, because that's what it means to be fair. That's what it means to be objective. That's what it means to try to have honesty and integrity in talking about politics. But honestly, some of you don't have that, and you think you do. You're walking around genuinely believing that you're doing the right thing, but then you're making an excuse for Trump every chance you get. But if I bring up Hillary's name, some of you start seething with rage. Why are you not holding Trump to the same standard you held Hillary Clinton? This whole thing of team politics and partisanship, it's just terrible, and I'm not going to do that on my show. Here, I'm going to try to be fair to the people. I'm not always going to be successful because I'll tell you the truth. I don't like Donald Trump because I don't trust him and because he's a con artist. But as I posted on Facebook, if he gets rid of TPP and doesn't replace it with something worse, I will give him props for that. It's even hard to say, but I'll still do it. If he does good stuff, I'm going to call it because that's the right thing to do. If he does things that are terrible, which I think he's already doing, then I'm going to call that out too. And honestly, if you encounter people who aren't going to try to be fair and admit that they're not always perfect, then you don't need to be listening to them because I'm not going to be listening to them anymore. We have to challenge people to be better or they're never going to be better. Speaking of that, I look forward to hearing from you about this video and hearing what you think. Challenge me if there's something you disagree with. I have my facts, but if I'm wrong about something, let me know. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm going to leave a link to all the news in the description. Share this with somebody, like it, and if you want to see more of what I'm doing here, then click subscribe. This has been Daniel with the Bothersome Truth, and I will see you next time.